everyone? Welcome back. We're getting this one in just in time. We've got a Brussels Diamond League recap and a Zurich Diamond League / the Diamond League final preview on deck for you guys today. Brussels was a good one. We had women's shot, men's disc, men's jav. Didn't have the same weather issues as Lausanne had. Apparently, Zurich might be having a lot of those same weather issues, so that's pretty frustrating to hear. But Zurich, I mean, regardless of what the weather is going to do, like the lineups top to bottom, unfortunately, because there's a Diamond League, there's no hammer, which makes me very sad. But in shot, disc, and jav, the lineups top to bottom, it's basically just World Finals previews. That's the nice thing about the field events is, and on some of the track events, like the biggest names are sitting out of the Diamond League final like 2 weeks before Worlds. In the track events, it's basically everyone who's going to be the major players come Tokyo. We're getting a preview of that in Zurich. And I mean, we've gotten, especially in most of the throws, we've basically gotten previews of those all season long. But Zurich gives the opportunity for one big meet, one big moment right before the biggest meet and the biggest moment of the year. So Zurich's going to be fun. We'll get to that in a second. Right now, let's talk a little bit about what happened in Brussels. We'll start with women's shot, where Chase Jackson does Chase Jackson things. Easy little 1 meter win. It's a field that included Sarah Mitten and Jessica Schilder and Maggie Ewan and Jada Ross and Yemi Ogunleye, I think, was there. Chase Jackson won by 101 centimeters. That's crazy. She threw 20.90 in her first competition since USA's. If you look back at her last 5 competitions now, it's been 20.95, 20.94, 20.06 in Monaco, which is a tough travel off of Pre, and then 20.84 at USA's, 20.90 here in Brussels. At USA's and in Brussels, she's been dealing with a finger issue, which clearly it's not ailing her enough to kind of jeopardize her world title chances. But maybe it's doing just enough to hold her back from that 21-meter throw we've been talking about for 2 months now. But she's just crazy good. And this one, I mean, not the best days for a lot of women. I think it was Jessica Schilder, I believe, finished second in 1989, which is a solid mark, but not a great day for her. Sarah Mitten, I think, was also in the 1980s. And then everyone else had kind of tough days. But, I mean, for Chase, it really is just her against herself now, and that's the way it has been for the last 2 months, which it's so much more impressive by the fact that, like, the era of women's shot put that we're in right now is so unbelievably good, but then it's just clearly Chase is that much better than everyone else. So that's really just a big testament to how good she is and how good she has been all season. Men's discus now. Rolford got Mikolas again. Mikolas came into this one, let's see. This was his first since, I think, throwing 72 at Lithuanian championships. It was Rolford's first in throwing 72 in Ramona. And Mikolas got out to an early lead. I think he went like 68-80 in round 1, but then that ended up being his best throw on the day, while Rolford came back in the later rounds and went over 69 twice. I think he ended up taking the win at like 69-60 something, I want to say, which is one of the best marks of his career. I think just behind, it might be the third best mark of his career and his best ever outside of Ramona. I'm blanking on exactly what he threw at NCAAs. I know it was 69 mid to high, but I mean, just a crazy impressive day from Rolford. And it's like confirming again, he is a legitimate gold medal contender when we get to Tokyo. Like, he just beat Mikolas Alekna, Daniel Stahl, Maddie Denny, Christian Che, um, everyone else who is in kind of that medal conversation, he just handily beat them and had the two best throws of the competition. He's unfortunately not in the Diamond League final, which kind of sucks because that would have been really fun to see. Um, but for this being his last one before they head to Tokyo, that's really good for Ralford, obviously. And it's crazy. Ralford is like 3 months younger than Mikolas is. So it's like we're literally just watching like the two of the best young throwers in history starting to like kind of enter their primes maybe. I mean, at this point, like who even knows what their primes could potentially look like? It's insane to think about the fact that we are going to be blessed in theory with like 15 more years of them just going head to head. And God, I can't wait for that to happen. I think Crawford still has more eligibility. So we could see them going head to head for the NCAA title again next year, which golly, that's gonna be interesting. Like, imagine if it's the world gold and silver medalist battling for an NCAA title the year after that. That'd be I doubt that's ever happened before. Um, but yeah, Ralford and Mikolas are just so good. Christian Che was third here, throwing, I think, a shade over 67. I think it was Daniel Stahl fourth. And then Matty Denny in his first competition in about 2 months finished in fifth, throwing like 66 mid. So not his best day, not super exciting, given the fact that this was kind of the first time we've seen him in a while. But you know what's coming on Thursday. It's Diamond Denny. So he's probably gonna he PBs in Diamond League finals, so he's probably gonna throw 75 in Zurich. But yeah, not a super good I guess kind of reopener for him, if you want to characterize it that way. But I'm sure he'll have more in store on Thursday, and then especially 2.5 weeks from now in Tokyo. Men's Jav is the last one we've got to hit on for Brussels. Julian Weber has come back to save us. He went 89.65 to take the win here. It's the second best mark of his career, just behind his 91 from Doha earlier on in the year. Great. I think he opened at like 87. He might have had an 88 or two spattered into the series as well. So really good day for Julian, which I'm excited to see what that means for him versus Niraj this week in Zurich. And then a lot of people stepped up behind him. Shorn Walcott finished second, throwing 86.30. Big season's best for him. Anderson Peters threw 85.17, which is his best mark since Doha in, mid-May when he threw like 85.60. But since then, like his best mark had been like 83 something. And so him getting back in the 85s is really good to see. I believe all of those three plus Niraj are going to be in Zurich. So that's going to be a really, I wish Arshad Nadeem was there. I wish that Luis Mauricio da Silva could have been there, but he was like 8th in the Diamond League standings and only top 6 make the Diamond League final, which is pretty stupid. But I wish Mauricio da Silva could have been there. I wish Arshad Nadeem could have been there, but this is as good of a Tokyo preview as we're probably going to get. Maybe throw Curtis in there as well with the way he's been throwing, but I'm very excited for men's Jav at Zurich. And this was it's a good palate cleanser after, was it Silesia, where Julius Yago won in like 83-40 or something, and I was just really upset about it. This was a good bounce back from a lot of guys. All right, let's get into Zurich now, and we are going to go in order of events. So men's shot. Can Joe Kovacs cap off the revenge tour? This is going to be his last meet of the year, I'd assume, because, even if he wins, the Diamond League bye won't apply to him because of Ryan having the world champion bye. So, I mean, he's done everything he can do since missing the team at USA's with wins in Budapest and Lausanne, third place finish in Silesia. Like he's still making it happen. He's still being obviously a really great competitor and pushing a lot of guys who will be in Tokyo, pushing them to their limits. So now Joe's coming back to attempt to win his fourth Diamond League title. He'll be going up against the likes of Leonardo Fabri, Peyton Otterdahl, Trip Pippery, Rajindra Campbell, and who is the last guy? Come on, Paul. It's not Chuck. It's not Roger. This is so embarrassing. Oh, man. I know it's 6 guys. Joe, Trip, Peyton, Leo, Rajindra. There's also a Swiss guy because they get like a local wild card or something. All right, I'm quitting. Who is it? Who is it? Tom Walsh. Oh my gosh. Ugh. This is terrible for the brand. I'm sorry, Tom Walsh. Um, so I mean, aside from Joe, this is essentially a world final preview. Throw in like if you replace Joe with Josh Awatunde, you've basically got potentially the top 6 guys at Worlds. But then you'll have the Ryan Krauser dilemma. So, oh boy, I'm really embarrassed about that Tom Walsh thing, but I'm not going to edit it out because we're authentic on this channel. It's going to be like Leo's been throwing really well. Peyton has been kind of up and down, but his highs have been really high recently. Tom and Trip have just been super steady. And then Rajindra he's had high peaks and pretty low valleys this year. Rajindra is also not going to be in Tokyo. I'm just reminding myself of that right now, which is depressing. But yeah, so you figure if anyone other than Joe or Rajindra wins this, I think it's probably safe to call them the favorite for gold in Tokyo. Just because they're proving they can come into this like high pressure type of situation, especially it's all going to get screwed up if they're throwing in like a torrential downpour again, because then it's hard to really get solid takeaways from that. But we'll see. It's going to be a really fun competition no matter what. And for Joe, just like closing out this season where obviously it's not where he wants his season to end. Like, obviously, if it's up to him, his season would be ending on the podium in Tokyo, as it always does. But I figure a $30,000 paycheck and another Diamond League trophy isn't too bad of a consolation prize. For the women's shot, it's the same field as you're always going to get. Chase, Maggie, Jada, Jessica, Sarah, and Fanny Roos. And it's going to be a really good field. It's going to be a really fun competition. The shot puts in Zurich are also street shot put competitions, so that makes it even a little bit more exciting. Especially considering Joe, this is, the site of his 23-23 from the last time the Diamond League final was held here in 2022, I believe. So women's shot, I mean, I talked about a little bit just recapping Brussels. Like, it really is at this point kind of just Chase versus herself more so than Chase versus anyone else. And so, I mean, make Sarah or Jessica can find something big, put a little pressure on Chase, make it a little more, make the competitive aspect maybe a little more exciting heading into Tokyo. But it'd take a lot to make that happen. And it's more like the bigger storyline, I think, is A, Chase continuing to rehab her finger, and B, can she break 21 even while she is actively dealing with a finger injury? So that's kind of the thing to watch out for in this one. Also, Maggie and Jada didn't have great days in Brussels, so they'll be looking for a bounce back. And with Fanny, like, she's had such a good season, but just looking at, like, she's been super consistent. But looking at where, like, the top end of her kind of form this year has been, it's tough to say she's like a legitimate medal contender. If she can manage a PB here, that really can vault her into the conversation of like, okay, if some people have bad days in Tokyo, she actually can win a medal. But I think she's still kind of a step away from being in that like true contender tier. But this is a really great opportunity to kind of change that narrative, get a big one in there, and move into Tokyo with a head full of steam. So those are kind of the things I'm looking out for in that one. Moving to the men's discus now, it's basically the field from Brussels minus Rawford, because you've got Mikolas, you've got Christian Che, you've got Maddie Denny, you've got Daniel Stahl, you've got Lawrence Okoye, I believe, and then I think Roger might be there. No, it's Henrik Janssen, I believe. So it's tough to say anyone could become like the gold medal favorite from this one because Rawford's not in the field. And like, I'm not saying Rawford is far and away the favorite for gold. Cause like, Mikolas beat him at pre. And Mikolas is Mikolas Alekna. You also can never really count out Christian. So it's tough to say exactly what we're going to learn from this one before we actually see how it plays out. But just enjoy the competition. Like Christian versus Mikolas versus Maddie is going to be a lot of fun. The biggest thing I think I will be looking for is if we see a significant leap from Maddie Denny from what we saw in Brussels. And then, honestly, like 68-8 or whatever he threw is a down day for Mikolas now. So this is a stadium we've seen people can throw far in. Wait, what am I talking about? I'm thinking of Brussels, which is where the Diamond League final was last year, not Zurich, which I don't remember what happened in discus at the 2022 Diamond League final. But for Maddie Denny, like, I'd love to see some improvement from Brussels. For Mikolas, if he gets over 70 again, I think he probably heads to Tokyo as the favorite, despite losing in Brussels. Daniel Stahl, just do good because I want you to still be a legitimate medal contender when Tokyo rolls around. And then for Christian Che, he's proven to be just a really good championship performer. Like, he's thrown over 70 at each of the last two world championships now. So he doesn't really have anything to prove. It's kind of just don't blow up, I guess, at this one. And then we'll go from there. But this, it's going to be a super fun competition because it's a super fun competition anytime we get those four guys stepping into the ring. Women's disc, kind of the same situation as women's shot. Val versus Val, as it has been for the last 2 years. Like, I was thinking about it earlier, and I'm like, man, aside from Ramona, because that's just exciting because of the marks, like, the two most exciting, like, women's discus comps this year have been, I think it was Rome and the Paris Diamond Leagues, which I believe is the two where Val was in, like, fifth after round 3 and then moved into the lead in the final. Because, like, the only way you can like make a competitively exciting like women's discus competition now it feels like is if Val almost loses. Um so that does kind of detract from this one a little bit, but I think it's a really great opportunity for a true silver medal favorite to emerge because we got Urinda Van Klinken, Sandra Elkasevich, and Loggy all in this field. And Loggy hasn't been that good on the Diamond League circuit this year. Obviously, she threw 70 in Ramona. She threw well at USA's. She threw really well at Ironwood. But her European circuit earlier in the year went really poorly. And she threw well, but placed not that great at pre. So I think if she can manage to finish second here, that would be huge going into Tokyo as she's chasing down another medal. Urinda has been so consistent all year. She's got 4 marks over 66 now. And in 11 competitions, her worst mark is like a 64-1. So she's been in that 64, 65, 66 range every single meet this year. And I know earlier in the season there were a lot of frustrations that she was sharing kind of about her throw. And that it really does tell me there's something under the surface that is just waiting to come out. Given the trend we saw in 2022 and 2023, that's probably going to come out at Worlds, and Urinda's going to go throw like 69-8, and Val's going to throw like 69-79 and get silver. Um, but I don't know. Maybe it'll arrive 2 weeks early, and we'll see something really special out of Urinda this weekend. For Sandra, she's 35 now, and she's proven everything she needs to prove. So her schedule hasn't been that busy this year. I think she's only competed 5 times. And the last time was at pre where she threw 66-97, I think. So she's still kicking ass whenever she wants to. So I'm very excited about this one to kind of get a clearer picture of what the podium might look like behind Val. And like I understand it is a little disrespectful to talk about throwers of this caliber and just immediately relegate them to lesser medals. But it is so much more a testament to what Val has been able to do as opposed to a knock against Urinda or Sandra or Loggy. That's all I want to say on that. Men's javelin, Neeraj Chopra versus Julian Weber for the first time in about 2.5 months. Neeraj hasn't competed since early July at the Neeraj Chopra Classic. Julian Weber is coming off of his second best performance ever. And I was curious about like Neeraj coming out of breaks because last year he didn't compete for about 2 months before Paris. And then he threw, what did he throw? Like 88 in qualifying and 89 in the final. He didn't compete for about 2 months before Budapest. And he threw, I think, 88 mid in the final and won the world title. And I think he hadn't competed for a while before Eugene as well. And then he throws like 88 mid and then I think 89 low in the final and wins world silver. So coming out of a break like that isn't necessarily a concern for Neeraj. That's what he's done a lot leading into championships. It's just with the order of Diamond League final and worlds this year, it's kind of flip-flopped a little bit. So I fully expect Neeraj to be in really good form. I think whoever wins this one, it's so tough to say with the freaking Arshan Nadeem wild card because you don't know what that guy is going to be capable of when he goes to Worlds. I guess barring him just going insane again, I think whoever wins this one because I think Julian or Neeraj are pretty easy answers for the win here. I think whoever takes the win is the favorite heading into Worlds. I'm excited to see how coming out of Brussels, where Kishore and Walcott and Anderson Peters both had really solid days. I'm excited to see how they keep building on that. And then, like I said, I really wish Luis Mauricio da Silva would have qualified for this, because that would have made it just that much better. But it really does feel like it's kind of the top two are going to be battling. And then the next two in Peters and Walcott are just going to be continuing to trying to push. And like maybe, I mean, God, Paris was just so insane last year. Like the top 7 guys were like the 7th guy threw like 86 high or something. Like it was crazy. Um, so I don't think, just given the form we've seen across the world this year, I don't know if it's going to be that deep this year. But in the case that it is, I think Walcott and Peters are going to need to see something better than what they have. They probably need to see season's best here, which I think they're fully capable of, especially if there's a little bit of them that's going to be kind of chasing what Julian and what Niraj are going to be able to do. Because I think that's going to be a barn burner between the both of them. Women's Jav, finally. Lausanne was just weird. Like, I don't think there's a lot you can take away from that other than it's really impressive what Adriana Vlagos was able to do. Haruka has one last chance to really kind of build some confidence before she goes to win a world title on home soil. Adriana has one last chance to kind of solidify herself as the favorite. Alina Tzenko, can she kind of recapture that early season form and really make some noise in this Diamond League final? Joanne Duplessis has been just solid all year. If she can kind of find a next level, I mean, she didn't really need a next level to win an Olympic medal last year, but hopefully the final in Tokyo, the marks will be a little bigger, and we won't see like, well, I think Nikola Ogrodnikova got bronze with like 63 low. Like, I think we're going to be better than that this year. Who else is... I forget if Victoria Hudson's in the field or not. She's really kind of only caught fire once this year at European team championships when she threw the world lead of like 67-60. So, yeah, it's just... I don't think you can really take any like clear conclusions away from whatever happens in Zurich. Like, even if Adriana throws really well, knowing the kind of championship performer that Haruka has proved to be the last 2 years, on top of the fact that it'll be a home world championships and she will have 80,000 people screaming their heads off for her. It's, even if Adriana throws really well, it's tough to say she's a clear favorite for Tokyo. But I do think this can kind of bring a little bit of, not clarity, but just some more insight and some more important data points before we get to Tokyo and before I inevitably make my horrible, horrible predictions for what I think is going to happen at Worlds. All right, well, that's all I got for you guys. Brussels is wrapped up. Zurich is on deck. Men's and women's shots are tomorrow. They're on Wednesday, the 27th. Disc and Jav, both discs and Javs, are going to be Thursday, the 28th. They're in Zurich. The shots are a little before noon Eastern time tomorrow. And then I think the discs are a little before noon. And then the Javs start at like 1:30 p.m. Eastern time on Thursday. So I'll put the results link in the description to keep an eye on that. But you can also follow me on Twitter at phoffmahoney. I'll probably have to be tweeting from class at some point, but who cares? Paulie throws on Instagram as well to keep up with all that very good stuff. Thank you guys for watching. Please like and subscribe and follow the podcast on Spotify. As I've said, I'm also on Apple Podcasts now, so that's fun and still kind of new. And yeah, I already gave the social media plugs, so that's all I got, and I will see you guys next time.